Hello, dear students, and welcome back to another live session here at ODA Class. Now, my name is Mitali Joshi, and today I will be teaching you about determiners. But before we get into that, students, let me tell you a little bit about ODA Class as well as myself, starting off with ODA Class. So, as you can see, kids, we are a live learning app where you get to come and learn from a group of amazing master teachers like myself. Now, we specialize in subjects, right? Specific subjects, all of maths, all three sciences, as well as English. And this group of teacher students, we have made a course only for you. And we call this course the Crash Course. Now, we call it the Crash Course, students, because it is only a week-long program. And in this 1 week, right, in the 6 days of classes, you are going to be covering 6 new chapters. So it is a crash course of a lot of things that you need to do well in your school. Now, like I said, it's a 6 day program. So out of these 6 classes, students, you will be having 3 maths classes as well as 3 science classes. These will all be conducted by us master teachers. And apart from us, you will also have access to one more very important resource, which is your personal mentor teacher. Now, your personal mentor teacher, students, is going to be responsible for guiding you and only you. So, what they will be doing is they will be tracking your progress throughout this course. They will be helping you through any doubts that you might have. Now, these doubts might come up during class. They might come up as you go through the homeworks or the quizzes that we provide to you. Or also, they might come up as you go through the books and modules that we give you for your extra reference. So, no matter where your doubts come up, students, no matter what you are studying, if you have and if you need help, you will have your mentor teacher always to help you out. Now, to enroll in this course, students, you can simply click on the link in the description box below and you can enroll for our week-long program for only rupees 29, 39 or 49 depending on your grade. Now, students, let me quickly introduce myself. So, like I said, I am Mitali ma'am. I graduated from Ohio State University, as you can see over here, and I am currently an English master teacher here at ODA Class. I have been teaching for a little more than 3 years, which is why I am very excited to be here with all of you and tell you about determiners. So, starting off, students, with the most basic question, right? What exactly are determiners? So, kids, determiners are words that we use to modify nouns or even noun phrases. Now, if you're confused about noun, students, I have talked about nouns in a previous video. You can go back to that video and refer to nouns. But to come back to determiners, determiners are simply words that are used to modify nouns. So words like a, this, some, those, right? And lots of others. Now, we will be talking about 3 main types of determiners. There are also some other types, which I will be talking about in a future video, right? But for now, students, let's see some examples of how we use determiners, right? So, for example, over here, my book is on the wooden table. So here, students, let's first identify our nouns, right? Obviously, we have the first noun here, which is book, and we also have another noun here, which is this table, right? Now, we have one word, right? This word my, which is modifying or which is describing or telling us more about the noun book. And we have 2 words over here, the as well as wooden, both of which are modifying our noun table. Now, these, right, my, the, and wooden are all different types of determiners, and we will talk about them. Today, like I said, we will focus on my and the, right, which are possessives and demonstratives and articles. So, starting off, students, with just one more example, all the students are paying attention. So, what are your students? Once again, right, we have our noun, which is students, and we have these 2 words, all and the, which are telling us more about the students, which means which are modifying this noun students. Now, we won't be focusing on all today, but like I said, we will be talking about the in today's class. So we have 3 main determiners, right, which we will cover in this session. Now, these 3 main determiners are number 1, articles. Number two, possessives. And number three, demonstratives. We will start off with article students, then we will learn about possessives as well as demonstratives. As you can see, kids, there is going to be a lot of information that is given to you in this video. So I hope that you are sitting with your notebooks and pencil so you can take notes and you can also ask us in case you have any doubts, right? Starting off, students, with, like I said, our first main determiner right there, which is articles. Now, I am sure that a lot of you already know about articles, right? We have been learning about articles probably since class 2 or 3, right? So, what are articles, students? These help us determine whether our noun is specific or if it is general in nature. So, what is the meaning of specific and general? Let's quickly revise that, right? When you say something is specific, you are talking about one exact object, right? So, for example, the water bottle on the table is mine. So, I am talking specifically about the water bottle which is on the table. That is why, right, I will be using an article, the, which is used to show that something is specific in nature. Now, on the other hand, let's talk about general, right? When you are using an indefinite article or when you are trying to show that something is general in nature, what you mean by that is you just mean one of these things. So, for example, can I borrow a pencil, right? Here, what am I saying? I just need one pencil. I don't need a specific pencil, just one pencil that works and can get the job done. So that, students, is the main difference between specific and general. And so using that, students, let's come to our two types of articles, right? Like I said, we have our first type of article, which is the definite article. Now, the definite article, students, is used to show that something is specific in nature. So like I said, the water bottle on the table is mine. Similarly, I was born in the West. So I am talking specifically about this one area, which is the West, which is why I use my definite article, the, right? Let's see one more example, students. Think about, did you read the book I gave you? Now, once again, here, kids, I am talking specifically, right, about the one book that I have given you. And that is why I use my definite article, the, to show that I am talking about one specific noun. Okay, so what is the opposite of definite article, students? Of course, they are called indefinite articles. Now, we use definite articles to show that something is specific in nature. On the other hand, we use indefinite articles to show that something is general in nature. Excuse me. Now, we have two indefinite articles, right? First one is a, and then we also have an. We will talk about the difference between these two in just 1 second. But first, students, let's take an example to understand indefinite articles, right? So, for example, here, I bought a new car. So, what am I saying here, students? It's just that I have bought one new car. I'm not specifying which car, just that I bought one new car. So, students, I hope that the meaning of general and the use of indefinite articles is clear to you with this example. Because now I'm going to move on and talk about the difference between the two indefinite articles, right? As you saw, kids, we have two indefinite articles, a and an. Now, the difference is only in the sound that comes after the article. Okay, often students get confused and think that it's about the letter which is after the article, but students, that is not correct, right? A lot of times the letter can give us an idea, but it's always the sound of the following letter or the following word that determines which article we use. So, for example, we use a before our consonant sounds and we use an before our vowel sounds. Now, like I said, we will take some examples to understand this, students. But some very simple examples would be a phone versus an envelope, right? A piece of paper versus an eraser. Now, I hope that this is clear to most of you kids because now I have a few questions for you. Okay, it is time for a few quizzes, students, and you have to identify which article I should be using. Okay. In some situations, it is very clear if I should be using a definite or an indefinite article. In some, it is not. So let's think about it, students, and let's try to answer some questions. Okay. Tell me here. Mr. Shah is blank honorable man. Now, like I said, students, you have to focus on the sound that follows the article. My article is right here, and the sound following this article is honorable, right? So even though the letter here is an H, right, which is a consonant, because we don't pronounce it, we say honorable, it has a vowel sound, which means that my article is followed by a vowel sound. And that's why, students, I will be using an here, right? Mr. Shah is an honorable man. Is this clear to most of you students? Remember, vowel sound versus consonant sound, not just the letters. Okay, so let's take one more example now. Blank sun rises in the east. Tell me, students, blank sun rises in the east. All right, now there is only one sun, right? As far as we know, in our world, there is only one sun, which means that whenever I am referring to it, it is very clear, right, which exact noun I am talking about. And because that happens, I know that I should be using my definite article, the, over here. So the sun rises in the east. All right? Remember, whenever there is only one of the noun that you are speaking of, you can always use the definite article, the. For example, the sun, the sky, the moon, the stars, right? All right, let's take one more question now. I need blank new pair of trousers for my interview. Now think about it, students. Which article should I be using here? First of all, should I use a definite or an indefinite article? And if I should use an indefinite article, should I use a or should I use an? Now, in this question, students, right, I am not talking about a specific pair of pants that I need or a specific pair of trousers that I need. I am just saying that I need one new pair of trousers, correct? Which means I should be using my indefinite article here. And the indefinite article that we use before a consonant sound, new, starts with a consonant sound, which means I will be using my article a. Is this clear to all of you students? Let's take one more question, okay? Tell me here. I want to study at blank university in London. Now, here's a hint for you students. I want you to use one of the two indefinite articles, okay? I want to study at blank university in London. Now, students, you might think that because university starts with a U, we are going to be using our article an. But students, let's repeat the word to ourselves, right? University, which means the starting sound of this word, students, is the year sound, right? University, not university. So because it is the year sound, which is the consonant sound, once again, students, I will be using my indefinite article here. I want to study at a university in London. So students, I hope that the difference between the three articles is clear to most of you because that was our first type of main determiner. Now students, let's move on to our second main determiner, right? Which is our possessives. Now students, what do we use possessives for, right? Possessives, my dear kids, are used to show, of course, possession or ownership. So when you own something or when something belongs to you, you use possessives, right? So for example, this is my book, right? Earlier, once again, we saw the same possessive come up, right? My. So we use my to refer to something that belongs to me. When the speaker uses something or the speaker is referring to something that belongs to themselves, they will be using the possessive my. So let's take a look at all of our possessive students. I hope that you all remembered our singular versus plural and also first, second, third person, right? If you are confused about this, students, I have made a video on pronouns which will be very helpful for you. You can go back and take a look at that. But for now, students, let's look at this, right? First person singular, we say my. This is my book. Second person singular, we say your, right? Go meet with your friends. Then we have third person singular, his, her, or its, for masculine, feminine, and for non living things. And then we have our plural as well. So for the first person plural, we say our. My family loves our time together, right? For the plural of the second person, once again, we have your. So the second person students, as you can see, the possessive for singular as well as plural remains the same. And then lastly, for the third person plural, we have our possessive there, right? So for example, my friends are going to their home tomorrow, right? They're going to their home tomorrow. All right, let's take one more example, students, right? Your house is beautiful. Your house, the house that belongs to you, is beautiful. Okay, now students, it's time for a quiz once again. I hope that the possessives are clear to all of you. If not, you can go back in the video and take a look at it once again. But for now, students, let's have a couple of quizzes. Okay, we have Joy and Dan are siblings. Blank parents are very kind. What do you think, students? Joy and Dan are siblings, right? So what we see here, students, is that we are referring to the third person plural, correct? Joy and Dan, which is why I use my third person plural possessive here, which is their. So Joy and Dan are siblings. Their parents are very kind. Is this clear to you all, students? Okay, so now students, we have done our second main type of determiner, right? We have covered articles as well as our possessives. Let's do one more quiz, students, and then let's move on to our third type of determiners, right? Tell me what is the answer here, students. Emily told blank brother that she was not feeling well. What do you think, students? Which possessive should I be using in this sentence? Think about it, kids. We are referring to Emily, right? We are talking about Emily's brother. So, students, tell me which possessive do we use for the third person feminine singular? Do you remember, kids? I hope that you have made a note of this and I hope that you were able to answer this correctly. Emily told her brother that she was not feeling well, right? Third person singular feminine is going to be her. All right. I hope this is all clear to you all, students, because now we are going to move on to our third main determiner, right? Which is the demonstratives. Now, students, what do we use demonstratives for, right? We use demonstratives to point out particular things or people. So, for example, this water bottle is mine. Okay. So, what am I doing, students? With this one word, this, right? I am clarifying which exact noun I'm talking about. Okay. Which means that I am using this word to point out one particular thing. All right. Let's take a look, students. Let's take an example, right? That bag, that bag is very expensive. So, what here, students? Notice once again that I am using this word that, right? I am using this word to do what? I am using it to point out that I am talking specifically about this one bag. Okay? That bag is very expensive. Now, students, as far as demonstratives go, we have four demonstratives. Okay? We have four demonstratives. Now, for the singular, we have this and that. For the plurals, we have these and those. Now, what is the difference, students, between this and that and between these and those? Now, we use this to refer to something that is near us. Okay? We use this and these to refer to some things or to some people that are near us. So, for example, this water bottle is mine, right? This water bottle is something that I can see right here. It is near me. But students, we use that and those for things or for people that are far away from us, right? Things that are further away from us. So, for example, can you pass me the book on that table? So, when I say this, students, it is clear, right, that the table that I am referring to is not near me. It is a thing that is near somebody else, that is far from me. And that is why, students, I will be using the demonstrative that in this example. Okay, let's see one more example. Let's take these mangoes are very tasty. These mangoes are very tasty. So what am I doing here, students? I am using this demonstrative these, right, which is used for things that are near us and for plural. So these mangoes are very tasty. All right. So now, kids, we have learned about three main determiner types, correct? We learned about articles, we learned about our possessives, as well as our demonstratives. Now, there is one very, very important point that you have to keep in mind, okay, when you think about determiners, which is that one noun or one noun phrase can only have one main determiner, okay? One noun or one noun phrase can only have one determiner, one main determiner, which means that if a particular noun has an article that is already modifying it, it cannot have a possessive or a demonstrative. Similarly, if it has a possessive, it cannot have an article or a demonstrative, and the same for demonstratives. All right. One noun or one noun phrase can only contain one, either an article, either a possessive, or or a demonstrative. Okay, now students, I want you to keep all of this in mind, right? Keep in mind that we learned about three articles, an, and the. Definite article, the, which is used to refer to specific things or specific people, right? Then we have our indefinite articles, and an, where the difference is only which sound follows these articles. We use a when we are using it before a consonant sound. We use an before vowel sounds. Then we learned about possessives. We learned, students, that possessives, right, are used to show possession or to show ownership. And for each person, and for singular and plural, we have a different possessive. And lastly, we learned about demonstratives. Demonstratives are used to point out specific people or specific things, right? We only have four demonstratives, this and that for singular, these and those for plural, okay? This has been a recap, students, a quick summary of this entire video, because now I have a few quizzes that I want you all to solve, okay? In some quizzes, there is one blank, in some, there are two. And there are options that are given to you below the question. Okay, so I want you all to try your best, students, and figure out which determiner I should be using in each of the blanks. Okay, so let's start, students, with our very first question for the day, which is, she is wearing a beautiful ring on blank finger. She is wearing a beautiful ring on blank finger. Can you tell me, students, which of these possessives should I use in this blank? Should I use his, her, or their? What do you think? I will give you 1 second to figure this out, students. Okay, so because I am referring, right, she means singular third person feminine. So I will use my singular third person feminine possessive, which is her. Okay, moving on to our second question, students. His imagination is out of blank world. Should I use, excuse me, should I use this, that, or these? What do you think, students? So, first of all, world, right? Singular. So we can already rule out this demonstrative these. And then students, as far as the world goes, right, we only know of one world. So when we are talking about it, we are in the world, which means it is near us, correct? And that is why, students, I will be using the demonstrative this in this question. All right, I hope this is clear to you all, students. And I also want you all to notice one more thing. I have also used a possessive in this question, right? His imagination. So the imagination that belongs to this boy is out of this world. Okay, what about your students? Now, like I said, this question has two blanks. Can you figure out which of the determiners should I use in each of the two blanks? Blank are blank childhood friends. What do you think, students? Should I use this or these in the first blank? Correct. Now, I am referring to something that's plural in nature, right? So I will say these are, okay, so I use these over here. And what about the second blank, students? Should I use a, should I use its, or should I use my? Of course, students, I should be using my, right? These are my childhood friends. I am trying to show that these friends are mine, right? Which is why I'm going to be using my possessive my over here. Now, what about this next question, students? Look at this tiny bird. Blank head is blue. What do you think, students? Which of these three determiners should I use in this blank? Look at this tiny bird. First of all, also notice this other determiner, right? This, when you say look, right, it's completely near you. So look at this tiny bird, which we see right here, right? Its head is blue. Now, I use its over here, students. Notice there doesn't make any sense because there is used for third person plural, correct? And then what about A? A head is blue, once again makes no sense, right? I am referring to the bird's head. That's why here I will be using its head. All right, let's try one more question, students. Alice is blank honest girl. Which article should I use in this question, students? Alice is blank honest girl. All right, students, just like honorable, right? In honest, we do not pronounce this letter H. So the first sound of this word honest is a vowel sound. And that's why, students, I will be using my article an here. So Alice is an honest girl. Okay, moving on to our next question, students. Tell me, can you pass me blank notebook on blank table? What do you think, students? Should I use an, the, or these in my first blank? Now, as you can see, we are talking about a singular notebook. So these is wrong. We can't use an over here, students, obviously, because notebook starts with a consonant sound. So the correct answer here will be the. Can you pass me the notebook on blank table? Once again, table is singular. So these and those are the wrong answer. So the correct answer will be, can you pass me the notebook on that table? Once again, students, notice, right? If you are asking someone to pass you something, it is probably not near you. That is why we use our demonstrative that here and not this. Okay, let's try one last question, students, for now. Tell me here. Megan used blank sketch pens for blank project. In the first blank, should I use that or should I use these? Now, students, because it is plural, correct? Sketch pens, multiple sketch pens. So I will be using my demonstrative these here. Okay? And in the second one, we are referring to Megan's project, right? Megan, third person singular feminine, which means that I will be using her over here. Megan used these sketch pens for her project. Now, students, we have done lots of questions and a lot of learning today, right? So let's quickly summarize. Once again, you remember, students, determiners are words that we use to modify nouns, and there are three main determiners. We learned about the three main determiners today, which are articles, possessives, and demonstratives. Now, kids, we have learned about all three of these, and we have also learned one very, very important point, right? Which is that one noun or one noun phrase can only have one main determiner. All right, I hope this is all clear to you, students. But I know that there is nothing like live learning, right? So, which is why, students, let me bring you back once again to our ODA app. Any doubts that you have in this session right now may not be answered right away. But, students, what happens on the ODA app? Because it's a live learning app, kids, all of your doubts get answered right away, right? And especially with your mentor teachers that you will be getting for this crash course. Now, like I said, students, our crash course is starting on Monday. It is going to be a week-long program, so you'll have class from Monday till Saturday. And out of these 6 classes, students, you will be having 3 math classes as well as 3 science classes. And as I was talking about your mentor teacher earlier, like I said, you will have access to your own personal mentor teacher who will be responsible for guiding you throughout this crash course, right? So they will be helping you with whatever doubts you have, whether these doubts come from the homeworks or the quizzes or the textbooks and modules that we will give you for your extra practice. Students, if you have any doubts regarding the crash course, you can ask us in the comment section. And in case you are ready to enroll, you can click on the link in the description box below and enroll in the week-long crash course for rupees 29, 39, or 49, depending only on your grade. So students, what are you waiting for? Let me tell you about the coolest thing about the crash course. Okay, if you haven't already enrolled, you might after you hear this. Now, you saw that we did lots of questions today, correct? We did lots of quizzes today throughout the class. Now, the same thing happens on the ODA app as well, except students that you get rewards for answering questions. So instead of right now where you've just been answering, you could be winning rewards on the ODA app. And then once you have enough coins, you can redeem them in the ODA mall for things like a smartphone or a smartwatch or a water bottle. So kids, if you have liked this video, you can like and share and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any future videos, students. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.